What is this? Oh, this is Frost getting. Oh, Slime had some takes about Frost, which, by the way, Moist Critical covered as well, which I do want to watch. I want to watch Moist Critical's video on that. Before we get to other stuff. But where is it? Does anyone have the Moist Critical video? Oh my god, I just realized this dude has a fire. Those shorts are sick. Got the fucking Demon Slayer. Moist talked about the huge drama between 100 Thieves and Frost, so I think I'll just watch his take on it.
Evening of internet drama that had me on the edge of my seat for the better part of 2 hours, and I have a deal that I want to talk about. Now, I'll go ahead and break down the situation for you in case you weren't on Twitter, and if you weren't, God bless you, keep up the great work, you're doing amazing, champ. Now, it all started on Twitter. And it all started with a series of tweets from a content creator named Frosty. He came out with a series of tweets making big accusations against his former employer 100 Thieves, basically just putting his ass in their face, making all kinds of big claims like them taking 95% of sponsorship deals, as well as a myriad of other problems that he had with the organization. 100 Thieves is a pro gaming organization started by a massive content creator named Nadeshot. They've been around for about 4.5 years now, and they have really taken the scene by storm. They have pro gaming teams as well as big content creators, and Frosty was part of one of their content creator teams called The Mob.
And Austin Show.
The Mob sailed away from 100 Thieves some time ago, but Frosty has now come out with big claims against the org, talking about how shady and shitty they were. And in response to these tweets, Nadeshot, the founder of 100 Thieves, went live on Twitch to address the controversy directly. And I know Nadeshot doesn't own Arby's, but he brought the meat regardless. He spent about an hour and a half finally pan-searing Frosty's cheeks in front of 45,000 people. It was a pretty well done response to everything, and I do like Nadeshot. However, he said something and revealed something that a lot of people are writing off as okay when I don't think it should be. And that's the percentage that 100 Thieves takes of the sponsorship deals they bring to the creators. This is
based. Charlie, just want to say, good team owner. Good take.
Is him debunking the 95% claim from Frosty.
That we took 95% of their sponsorship deals that we brought to the mob. That is unequivocally, undeniably, without a shadow of a doubt, untrue. It is absolutely untrue. There is no basis for Frosty to say this. At one point, I have an email that the key terms of these deals that we bring to the mob, we would retain 85% of revenue. We did 3 deals for them. And all 2 out of the 3 deals, they took home 65% of the revenue from that deal.
85 is bananas. Another classic. So bananas they didn't even do it, even though they could have done it. Which, for everyone to comprehend, 85% is bananas. Okay? Bananas. Except that is exactly how, for some reason, esports orgs work. They work in an identical capacity to the 360 deals that you would get from like a fucking studio, you know, record label. Okay? Now, someone is going to make the argument like, oh, well, they're bringing up the sponsorships. That's a lot of, because I did this. This was my job for the Young Turks, was to build up our advertisement sales and operations. I know how difficult it is to fucking find sponsorships and sell out your inventory and all that sort of stuff. That's a lot of overhead. You got to fucking pay salespeople and all this other shit. You got to find, you know, seasoned salespeople. You got to build out the back end, all this shit, right? And even then, that's crazy. Even then, that's crazy. So, But I believe that the mob wasn't doing any of that. No. I'm saying this from understanding what it takes to actually secure sponsorship deals. And then you send it off down the way. And then you send it off down the way to your content creators and you say, here, I'm blessing you. This is a sponsorship opportunity for you. All you need to do is this, whatever the demands are. Okay? And then they're like, here. Whatever the demands are, whatever the agency, the marketing agency wants, that's a separate entity from the actual brand itself, whatever the brand's demands are that are being communicated through the marketing agency that you're working with, and then your internal sales team communicates that to you. There's a lot of fucking hands that touch that. There's legal. All this shit costs money. I do understand why there would be a percentage that they would get. Okay? And especially if you are a young up and coming content creator, especially if you're not like already well established, then those marketing deals that are coming to you are only coming to you because you're a part of 100 Thieves, because 100 Thieves has inventory that they want to sell. Having said that, though, 85% is still fucking crazy. And not only is it so fucking crazy, that, I mean, they didn't even do it. 10 to 20% from your personal experience is only for agencies and management. There is a limit to how much there's a legal limit to how much an agency can take when they bring a sponsorship deal to you. For example, my agents can only take 10% of the deals that they bring my way. In most circumstances, they take 0% because every time they bring a deal my way, I say, no, I'm not going to do that. So then they're like, okay, back to the drawing board. But that's besides the point. So, but if they were to sell something, they would get 10%. Okay? Managers, on the other hand, are not shackled, burdened by the nanny state in a similar capacity. And managers can get higher percentages, or managers can get executive producer credit. This is some Hollywood inside baseball for you. That's why managers, that's why a lot of agents will like swap over to the management side. Okay? But that's different. How about you pay your agents? That's a good one, opening juke. So, that kind of stuff doesn't happen unless you're already popping. You're not going to get an agent or a manager unless you're already like a well-established a brand in the field. What do I mean by that? Agents just do block and push for the most part. These are brands that want to fucking deal with you. They want to work with you. And agents basically in that system are operating as an assistant. A lot of agents, and maybe not the managers, but a lot of agents don't want to fucking work extra hard and like find new brands for their client. They're just basically sitting there reading the fucking business, getting their assistant to read the business email that is getting inbound requests and figuring out which of these brands actually make sense. Okay? With 100 Thieves, it's a little bit different than just an agency, even though an esports org also operates like an agency in that respect. They are the ones that are getting a deal, probably, and often it's just like an overall deal from like Uno or a video game or whatever the fuck, Gucci, right? They do collaborations with 100 Thieves, and then they divvy it up amongst the 100 Thieves content creators. So because of that reason, it's not like Gucci's like, or Uno's like, we desperately want to work with the mob. Please. Like, please give us, please give us the mob. We want to work with them really bad. No, they want to work with 100 Thieves, and 100 Thieves says, hey, the mob, you get a piece of this too. So that's how it works, which is why they are able to take whatever fucking cut they want to. But even then, it is completely unacceptable that the cut is 85, in my opinion. But also, I'm not a fucking business owner. Especially, I'm not a business owner that is also backed by VCs, because 100 Thieves for all the bells and whistles, is backed by big banks. So obviously, for that reason, they are going to have additional financial scrutiny. They have a lot of famous investors involved in this circumstance as well. So there is definitely. Did you know about the cut percentage from Will? Wait, what? No. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they take. But like I said, I am not a business owner. Part of this is the reason why I'm not a business owner. Because I would not be a good business owner. I'd be a very bad business owner. The thing that I actually saw, though, with the compensation structure of Nate Shot, the way he described it, was that there was a relatively adequate base salary, especially with like so much more tacked onto it on top of that, because they had a lot of incoming sponsorship opportunities, and also they get to keep their revenue that they generate from, you know, streaming all the fucking time, right? A 60K base for a, you know, a streamer that gets like 100 views on top of additional sponsorship opportunities where you get like 12 grand a pack, 12 grand a pop is fucking nuts. It is actually so good that I would go so far as to fucking say Nate Shot is a bad business owner. Like, literally, that seems so good for a young new content creator that does not even have like any kind of you know, they're not bringing anything to the table other than like being content creators for 100 Thieves, which is an obligation that it seems like Frost didn't want to do, regardless. Like, that's bananas. Okay, that's bananas if that's the base salary. Okay. Don't you always say 60K is nothing in LA? Yes, of course 60K is nothing in LA. But also, you have to understand that we're like, people routinely misunderstand something about socialism, and I'm going to bring this up one more time. Socialism is about adequate compensation for your labor. Socialism isn't about a flat fee for every single person. Socialism isn't about like, you know, the abolition of money even. That's communism, right? So they just give a small cut of the sponsorship and brand ambassadors then pay all org members a salary? Yes. Also, I lived on 23K a year when I worked at a small startup started by my uncle. I had to live in the fucking kitchen of a frat house, but that's besides the point. That's not great. I don't wish that upon anyone, but it does seem like 60K is relatively fair across the board. Especially when you have additional compensation. 23K was how long ago? 2013. Socialism was when the workers own the means of production. Yes, when the workers own the means of production, they get to make sure that they have adequate pay. Yes, it's like every socialist, a business owner of their own business. Your guides are seeing on the money take right now? Anything on the money take right now? What do you mean? Anyway, regardless though, let's take a look. The 85% revenue cut off of brand deals that they're bringing in, even with the additional amount of money that they have to pay for all those other employees, is still insanely high. Okay? It's super, super, super fucking high. Straight up. And it plays a fundamental role, as also Slime brings up here. Frost getting clowned is super funny and deserved, but don't let the raucous yas queening of Nate Shot drown out the open secret that esports teams are wholly unsustainable at all levels, and everyone's living on borrowed time from investors gambling, so fuck it, scam city, baby. I agree with him. I agree with Slime. Slime has been popping off. No bad takes from this motherfucker in the past week or so. His cop tweets were great. This tweet is also great. He says, that said, I do think the most noble thing to do in someone's position like an esports CEO is to hook up your friends up, / people you believe in with resources, basically have the billionaire subsidize a jumping off point for you and your crew, which is always admirable, which from what I understand is what like Nate Shot did basically for the mob, which included Frost as well. So that is what he did. He took these 3 guys who were popping off on Twitter, and I've met some of them. They're all, they're all funny dudes. They're all nice dudes, but they didn't have or 4 guys. Sorry, not 3 guys, 4 guys. And he believed in them. He thought that they were really funny, and he was like, "Yeah, go ahead. Do your shit." Every time I hear Reed Slime talk, I like him more. He's a sharp cookie. Yeah, and he's bald. Why don't you baldcast with Slime and Northern Line one day? That's the dream, baby. All right, so let's hear what else he had to say.
Okay, 65% of the revenue from that deal.
To me, that's not an amazing look. This is entirely wrong. This is the biggest load of fucking horseradish I've ever seen in my life. I don't know where this 95% number is coming from. It's actually 85. That's not much better. Wiggling your finger, well, actually, it's 85% that will take
Moist nails this, by the way. He's fucking right about this.
up to. Now, Nadeshot, of course, does go a bit deeper into the weeds of it, saying that they did end up giving 65% to the mob for, one of their deals in particular, which was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with 120 grand, which means 100 Thieves took 80 grand. They got 35%. And that's still an outrageous amount. I have seen so many people defending this number, saying shit like, well, they wouldn't have had the sponsorships without 100 Thieves, so they're entitled to 85%. And they were generous enough to only take 30%.
That's bullshit, for the record. That is bullshit. Agencies, esports organizations are not an agency. So yes, there are additional obligations. There are additional fucking costs associated with running that. They're not just like they're not an agency. They're not literally just like looking at brand deals and then throwing it your way, and that's the only way that they make money. However, having said that, it's still completely like anything above, in my opinion, maxing out 20%. But then again, I'm not a business owner. I can't do this shit, so I should probably not fucking have a say in this. But anything above like fucking 20% is wild.
35. That is a fat, stinky L of a take right there. That kind of naive.
Having said that, though, if they had the capacity to take 85% and took only 35%, then they also understand that is like ridiculous. Moist called out Hasan preemptively? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, why would Moist... I agree with him. Why do you think that there's... Why is it that motherfuckers literally say, like, when I'm agreeing with the person on screen, you're still saying, like, dude, that's kind of fucked. He called you out big time, dude.
Naive mentality is exactly why so many creators have been getting fucked in the face for the last 10 years online. Most creators, professional gamers, streamers, whatever, are pretty young, and they don't realize that they shouldn't be signing contracts that have something that extreme in them, like up to 85% we can retain from sponsorships. Even if it said like 35%, that's still a glaring red flag. They don't realize they're being exploited like that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Nadeshot is doing this maliciously. This is just how the industry has been for about a decade, where the big businesses know that these people are young enough to not make a big hoopla about the sponsorship cut that they take, because to them, they're just making content, doing what they love, and getting some free money on the side because a company's finding ads for them. And then they'll take the lion's share of the ads when really they shouldn't. I think that's an absolute load of fucking dirty barnacles.
Agreed.
That's absolute fish paste. So I don't think Nadeshot's doing this from a place of like evil or greed. I'm pretty certain this is what he's always seen in the industry since he's been in it so long. But that's not the way it should be. I've talked about this a lot. I started a company back in 2018 with Matt. I even made a whole video talking about it publicly. It's called Human Media Group. It's a management company where we manage hundreds of creators, some of the biggest names on the platform. We bring them brands, ad deals, campaigns, all that stuff in order to help them stay monetized and make a living out of the content they love to produce. We started it because of this being the industry norm. I made a lot of deals on like the podcast as well as personally that were really predatory, and I didn't know any better. So over time, I learned with Matt, and we started this company to try and help my friends, and then it grew into just helping any and all creators. And with Human Media Group, we take on average 15% of sponsorship deals we bring the creators, but sometimes we'll even go as low as 10%. So between 10 and 15% is the cut we take from the sponsorship deals we bring to them.
By the way, this is no different than esports orgs are different. But across the board, a lot of these management companies and a lot of these agencies and the way that they operate is no different than all of the fucking MCNs that were popping off literally when I was in the ad side of this business, when I was at the Young Turks. And they would take a gigantic percentage of the fucking cut. They would offer nothing, especially to smaller content creators that they took basically to say, look at how many numbers we have. And that's right. The appropriate, adequate thing to do in this situation is to take no more than 10% commission if you're obviously an agent. If you're a manager, managers try to take more, up to 20%. But you gotta, I mean, that's anything beyond that is wild. Correct source worked at all of these places. Yeah, Machinima, Maker Studios, all these fucking places were doing exactly this. MCNs would take so much. There's a reason they were valued. No, they were overvalued. Maker was overvalued at $100 million, and it fucking blew up in Disney's face when they bought it out. It's just, it wasn't good. It was anyone who had spent any time in this fucking industry knew already that Maker, Machinima, Full Screen were all going to fucking go bust, okay?
And that should be the norm. You should never sign something or agree to do business with someone that's going to be taking 35 or 85%, allowed 85% in the contract. That's disgusting. That's fucking disgusting. The absolute maximum you should be okay with is like 20%. That is the most any agent or company should ever possibly even toy with taking from the sponsorship deals. And I do understand the take people keep tossing around and regurgitating like a fucking mama bird feeding the baby bird, just vomiting it into each other's mouths. The take of, you know, they wouldn't have the sponsorship deals without 100 Thieves. You're right, but that doesn't mean they're entitled to 85% or even 35%. They're not doing the bulk of the labor. The onus is on the creators. They're doing the heavy lifting. The reason the sponsorship deal's there at all is because the creator is there and they're buying the slot.
But like I said, to be fair, in this circumstance, there is a tier of content creation in this circumstance, and if you are just entering, like even in fucking apprenticeship contracts or whatnot, if you're getting technical training on the side, like if the union is paying for your training or something like that, like there's always going to be a smaller payout for someone who's just starting off rather than a smaller percentage payout for someone who's just starting off that the company is literally paying because they think that this person has a lot of potential versus a larger content creator that's also inside of that same structure. It shouldn't be 85%. That's insane. Like I said, 20% is like the maximum, in my opinion. Anything higher than that seems ridiculous. But like, I doubt that fucking all the other content creators have similar payout structures in comparison to the smaller creators that they brought on, because this is not an MCN, right? 100 Thieves' business strategy wasn't like Maker or Machinima go out to as many small content creators that they called tier 3 content creators and like pad the decks with the numbers that they brought as a collective. Because one person with 100K views a month is nothing, but when you have thousands of those people, all of a sudden you can say you have a robust inventory that you can place ads against, right? That's what Maker and Machinima did that was like fucked up. Okay? Even if you're high tier, the guy running the marketing in Procter & Gamble doesn't know who most creators are, and you need salespeople to tell him to give a fuck about Valkyrie. That's true, 100%. And you do that with demographic numbers and all this other shit. However, it's also what you made mention that it was the 100 Thieves marketing department, marketing and partnerships department who were brokering the deals and working on helping the mob fulfill the deliverables. Yeah, of course. That's how it's supposed to work. That is how it's supposed to work. I understand that that's how it works. That's how it works in every organization. I think that the worst part about it, as Charlie also calls, Charlie also caught on to here, is the 85%, which is I think an insane percentage. But then again, I'm not a business owner. Okay, I can't. I don't know what the obligations are when you bring in fucking VCs and shit. If I were to start an org, which, you know, probably not, but if I were to do something like that, I would want to have it be completely rid of any kind of VC involvement. Because you are no longer, regardless of whether you own it or not, you are no longer in control of your own brand. You are no longer in control of whatever you own. Okay? More in control of the top of the hour ad breaks. True. It's kind of like at the top of the hour, I'm not in control of the 60-second ad break that I have to serve you. At the top of the hour, the 6-second ad. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or you can do for free. That's right. With a Twitch Prime, you can do that for free. Twitch Prime is free as long as you have an Amazon Prime account connected to your Twitch account. Where you get one free Prime subscription a month. You can also get gifted a sub. Here's the 1-minute ad break now.
From them. What 100 Thieves is doing, or what any management company does, is they facilitate that deal. They negotiate, they get the terms, and they...
Having an agency and working for an org is two different things, though. They got a $60K a year for doing nothing with $2.5K a month for content. Yes, they have obligations to the content creation process, so they have obligations to like be in a video. They have obligations to like go and appear at a shoot, appear at a podcast. Like those are the things that they're paying you 60 grand for. You on top of that can stream however much you can, and take up all the fucking revenue from that, which is great. Because some places will literally fucking even steal that from you, and that's incredibly unethical and really fucked up. Okay, but ultimately, it seems like, given all the details that I've seen, and maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have a 60K base salary, plus you get a percentage of the partnerships, which could be higher and should be higher as a matter of fact, and you can also fucking stream as much as you want and you know, pop off as much as you want, and you now have access to a massive fucking a massive amount of gigantic content creators that you otherwise would never have access to. Okay, then yes, that seems fucking great. It's a 60K base salary plus sponsorships that you are getting that you normally wouldn't get, that you're getting paid, 100 Thieves numbers for. Because there are people in here right now that are, 35 viewer streamers. There are people in this chat right now. There are streamers with 100 viewers, with 200 viewers. And if your situation is like, if you have a 200 viewer stream and a gigantic, like the most poppin' org on the fucking down the block says, hey, I want to take a shot at you. I think you have a lot of potential. Come join. We're going to give you 60K base salary. Plus you're going to get fucking sponsorship deals. The normal sponsorship deals that you would be getting if you're 200 viewers is Raid Shadow Legends, $200. Okay? That's it. But when you're with 100 Thieves, you're getting 12K. You're getting 20K, 30K, 40K sponsorship deals. Okay? That's pretty good. That is like, I just want to adjust your expectations to what it looks like for the average streamer. Okay?
They bridge that. They bridge the deal. You can find deals on your own as a creator. You can reach out to companies yourself. Sometimes companies even reach out to you. The reason why 100 Thieves or any management company at all exists and is effective is because most big brands don't reach out to individuals and don't accept people individually. They will take their ad campaign and their marketing spend to agencies or companies that have a big roster, and they'll buy bulk. They'll say, we have this campaign for this demographic and we want this many viewers. Who do you have for us? And that's when the company will provide you, if you're part of their roster, like 100 Thieves, they'll throw your name in there, and if they say yes, then you've got the deal. It's not like they're doing anything that entitles them to such a crazy cut of the sponsorship deal. It's just a pretty ludicrous notion. Yes, the companies like 100 Thieves or any management company does have access to brands that individuals won't, but still, it doesn't mean that they should be taking such a crazy amount from you either.
One of those deals, they made $30,000 each. It was a $200,000 deal. They walked away with $120,000, I believe it was. Okay? And what you don't understand is that we have to employ a partnerships team that needs to go out and source these deals. Then you have account management that handles once
He's literally
that deal
describing
is sold,
everything I just
account
described already,
management
but
coordinates with everybody else within the company, whether it's marketing, whether it's content, whether it's a deal that is done with talent. And we have to incur labor expenses to make these things a reality.
All of those things he mentions there, Human Media Group also has, and I assure you 15% is still profitable. It's plenty. It's not as profitable as 35 or 85%, but it is.
But the difference is that I don't know Moist's situation, but it does seem like Human Management, is that what he says, is a management company rather than an esports organization. And an esports organization also offers a base salary. I don't think he offers a base salary to the people that he signs on as clients. Charlie owns an esport organization as well, so I don't know why he's comparing. Media Group, come on, bro. I know he has an esports organization, but he's not talking about that right now. I know. I originally thought that this was an esports organization, but now he's talking about, he's not talking about the esports organization. He's talking about the management company. The cost for an esports org are way more than a management company, especially one of the size of 100 Thieves. Yes. He has Moist Esports, which is separate from Human Media Group. Right now, he's making a comparison between not Moist Esports and 100 Thieves, which are two more comparable situations, but instead, a 100 Thieves, which is an esports organization, and his management company. His management company, Human Media Group, is of course going to have a different level of priorities and obligations between the clients, because ultimately the esports organization has employees, and 100 Thieves is giving a base salary to all their employees and the content creators that they're working with. You see what I'm saying? Okay, Moist Esports 100% winning goes to the players on a top salary. No, that's great. That's wonderful. I think that that's awesome. And I agree with that. That is the right thing to do. That's the appropriate thing to do. But the financial structure is entirely different between an esports organization and a management company. Okay? I don't like discussing this sort of stuff with the leftist chat because, you know, let's be real, myself included, we're not very well versed in how companies are run or the amount of overhead necessary because we're fucking lefties, okay? It's just true. And a lot of you also have not actually worked, not even in this industry, but in any industry whatsoever. And that's great. You have, an empathetic worldview, and that's wonderful, and I understand that. But when I describe to you things that I know from my own personal experience, from my knowledge of the space, from working not in front of the camera, but working behind the camera as a biz dev person, you know, just listen. This is like talking about barbecue with vegans. Exactly. An esports organization is different than a management company. An esports organization can look like a management company in certain points, like when they bring on brand deals and give it to their content creators under their roster. Okay? But an esports organization is also has significantly more overhead. Charlie's might not. And I appreciate that for him. And I think he's doing a great job running his organization, especially if he is giving all of the fucking earnings from, you know, all of the top prizes they make money off of. Like, that's great. That's what should be the industry standard. I agree with what Charlie is doing. But right now, Charlie's not talking about Moist Esports. He is talking about comparing an apple and an orange. Even though he does have oranges, Florida boy. He has oranges, but he has apples too. And right now he's comparing the 100 Thieves orange to his apple instead of his oranges.
Plenty. It's not necessary to be taking such a high cut of those sponsorship deals. Now, I do understand that 100 Thieves is not a management company first and foremost. They are a professional gaming organization. They have content creators, they have pro gamers. I understand that, but they do have that management arm clearly since he's mentioning this team. So I know that 35% is still outrageous. And I do get the argument that will inevitably be made that they only have like 20 creators they're getting sponsorship deals for, whereas Human Media Group has hundreds. So, just going by scale, taking 15% of hundreds of deals is more profitable than taking 15% of 20. And that's a fine argument to make, like I get it. However, those 20 creators that 100 Thieves has are massive. He mentions a $200,000 deal. That's one campaign. If you took just 15% of that, that's 30 grand from a single marketing campaign with a single member of the 100 Thieves community there. One single group. That's a great take home. It's not as much as the 80 they did take home, but 30.
Why did you say your new YouTube video has no audio? Aaron Rodgers talking about being is like kind of funny, especially when he got COVID and got really scared and threw the kitchen sink at it. But it is nowhere near as funny as like this fucking granola freak turning around and being like, I didn't want to take the job. It does seem like there's audio in it, but you can go watch it.
Is plenty. So I just completely disagree with all the people defending this 85%, which I think is...
I think the 85% is way too high as well. I agree with Charlie on that, 100%.
Indefensible. But even the people defending the 35%, I just think that is still excessive, and we need to get past this idea that the companies that are getting the sponsorship deals are the ones that deserve the biggest cut of it or a massive cut of it, because that's just not how it should be. It should be the creators getting the bulk of that deal, because the deal is there because the creator is there in the first place, right? Like, it's just, we're getting it backwards now. We're starting to go in reverse here. So I just wanted to get that point across, that I think 100 Thieves, if it's 85% for all their creators, is outrageous, or even 35%, it's way too high. Now, I do want to go into a bit more just to conclude the entire situation here with the drama. I think overall Nadeshot came out of this looking significantly better than Frosty. One of the big claims Frosty made is that they were completely broke when they were signed with 100 Thieves. They were forced to move to West LA, and their salary didn't enable them to like have any quality of life, talking about like having to skip meals sometimes to pay rent, and that they were living in a $10,000 a month house. And that is true. According to Nadeshot, they did get encouraged to go out to West LA. However, they chose the $10,000 house. And even on Frosty's own stream, he tried to make a point saying West LA is so expensive that, all we could do was take a $10,000 house. But then he goes on Zillow and immediately proves himself wrong, just spits in his own face. He brings up other cheaper alternatives. There were some for like $5 or $6 grand a month as opposed to $10K a month. So they were cheaper.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Like, West LA is extremely expensive, but I mean, I lived in Brentwood. You know what I mean? I lived in Brentwood with 2 roommates, 3 roommates. And Brentwood is a very nice part of West LA. And I lived in this was 3 years ago too. Yeah, I literally lived in West LA while they were living in West LA, I guess. Well, maybe 1 year before they were living in West LA. And I'll tell you, like, we lived in a 3-bedroom apartment, and I think the total was like $4 grand or something. Like, literally. We split the cost between 3 people and then sometimes 4 people, and it was, it was manageable. I've never in my entire life paid 10 grand. I don't pay 10 grand right now for my mortgage payments. Or I guess maybe I think I pay it now for my mortgage payments. For a fucking house. With 5 bedrooms. Like, that's wild. Stop digging yourself deeper? Wait, what? Why am I digging myself deeper? And a Bugatti. which I have. Wait, explain what my digging deeper thing is. Damn, you need some roommates, bro. Yeah, except I have them. They're called my mom, my dad, sometimes my brother, and also my friends that come and visit me. So I do have that. But also, it doesn't even matter because I can fucking pay for it. So, you know. Oh, 10K mortgage videos incoming is what he means? I mean, that's so fucking stupid. I very, very famously and very publicly bought a $2.75 million house. I didn't buy it with fucking cash up front, you psychos. I know a lot of people thought that, but
For alternatives where they didn't have to dump their entire salary into rent. But overall, I don't think they should have been forced to go to LA in general. No one should be. LA sucks. I fucking hate LA. I'm just not a fan. I think it's way too expensive. Their salaries were $2,500 each, and that doesn't go a long way in LA, so I don't think they should have been forced to go there anyway, but they did make a mistake choosing such an expensive place to live. Nadeshot said it was their choice to live there, and it was. He confirmed that. There were cheaper alternatives that they didn't even consider, I guess. So overall, a lot of the responsibility fell on Frosty, and a lot of these claims seem to be baseless. But it's a lot of just he said, she said. But again, I think Nadeshot came out of this looking much better. I think he did a great job of defending himself, and Frosty kind of made a fool of himself, especially towards the end where he said this.
You literally provided no proof? Bro, because for me to provide proof, like, what is there to provide proof of? Like, why would I be lying? Like, I would have to show text messages. Like, this is what I mean, bro. This is why I wanted to wait.
You were the one that made the claims. You should have, like, something, I would expect. And what do you mean there's no reason for you to lie? You have plenty to gain out of lying. Well, you know, clout.
I do. I mean, look, I kind of feel bad for Frosty. Like, I feel like he's gone through some, you know, mental health complications in the past too. Like, that shit's not easy, especially when you're young. You feel like you got an opportunity to blow the fuck up. Maybe it didn't pan out in the way that you thought it was going to. You know, it kind of sucks. You know, it's just. Fuck this Twitch drama. Cover some politics, please. I mean, this isn't even Twitch drama. It's like, this is more, you know, org stuff.
You got, what, 30,000 concurrent viewers during your stream debunking it, and you hadn't streamed in 3 months, and before that we're averaging a couple hundred. Like, there was so much to gain out of a controversy like this. There's plenty of incentive to lie.
Labor.
At the very least, Nadeshot was open and honest about things, even something as bad as the 85% of the sponsorship deal thing. Nadeshot also pulled up metrics to talk about, like, how they weren't doing content and certain things. Nadeshot did come with receipts as well as, like, actual evidence to back up what he was saying to defend the company. Frosty spent the whole stream just saying stories and like talking about things in a roundabout way. A lot of times it just seemed like straight up entitlement, like he was expecting them to bend over backwards to do everything to make them happy at all hours of the day. And so the stream didn't go super well for Frosty. I don't think he did a great job of, like, proving his claims. Maybe he'll come forward with, like, actual evidence to support these things in the future, but for now, it does look like Nadeshot, like, did the best here in this situation. I just wanted to talk about mainly the sponsorship thing, since that's what I took a big issue with, not so much the drama between the two of them.
He got exploited, but yeah, I agree. I think, like, exploitation is at the fucking heart of every capitalist endeavor. 2.7 mil? Wow, Hasan, it sounds like you make a lot of money through your labor and can buy a simple house that is totally overpriced due to the housing situation in the U.S. This is true. It is super overvalued, unfortunately. So, wow. I don't know why I read it like that. Listen. Here's what I will say, okay? Here's what I will say. Exploitation is a fundamental truth at the heart of capitalism. That's just how it works. So the way I look at a lot of this stuff, because I know that they're not fucking rugged communists who are running a fucking esports organization, the way I look at it, including with the way, like, I look at the way Ludwig runs his business, for example, or the way Moist runs his business, these people that I do know, are they doing the least amount of exploitation. Now, exploitation is still always going to be at the heart of it, because as long as the employee does not have some level of fucking control over the means of production, some mechanism of pushback, the employer is always going to have to be magnanimous. That structure is fundamentally fucked up and broken. That is at the heart of my commentary. That's what I believe in. That's what I think is wrong. Okay? And as far as my friends goes, unless there's some like dark, shady fucking truth that I am not aware of, especially with like Ludwig and stuff, like, of course, Ludwig doesn't run a communist operation, right? He does not run a socialist operation. It's not a fucking commune. It's a business. And the way I look at it, like, it's a well-run business that is not immediately as exploitative as like any other business in this fucking industry would work. Okay? And I can't speak for the rest of the 100 Thieves back-end people who don't have social media clout, right? Who are the editors, the producers, the people that work behind the scenes to make this fucking machine work. I can't speak for how well they were compensated, if they were compensated adequately or not. They probably weren't, because that's not how businesses are run, okay? But as far as the mob goes, as far as like what Nadeshot, or how Nadeshot operated with the mob, it seems like he did a decent job, with the exception of the 85%, which he didn't even exercise, but it's still ridiculous that it's, you know, he did right by them, because it kind of feels like he believed in them, like he wanted them to blow up. He thought that maybe because they had a lot of like social movement, social media footprint from like Twitter, that social media footprint that basically what he thought would translate to view counts and whatnot, or 100 Thieves. They were his mods. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I think there's a valid argument that H-Rock made that Nadeshot should have known better than to leave them to their own hands. No, I agree. No, that's what I'm saying. I think Nadeshot was like trying to do a homie deal rather than trying to do a business deal. And for that reason, I think that he was like actually unironically doing a bad business deal. And I don't mean bad in like he's a capitalist exploiter. I mean bad as in like, the fuck, what was he doing? There was like no actual fucking obligations. Like, what are you doing? He was taking a hit business-wise for the homies, yeah. Not to derail, but for Fear and, is it a coincidence that there's been a pattern of 2 episodes with Will, 1 without? Or is that what can be expected going forward? No, that is not what is expected going forward. I hope to have Will in every single one of the episodes. It's just that Will has a million different fucking jobs at the same time, so it's just, I can't have him on every single time. It's not like there's no like underlying reason. I'll you know. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that Will came on for 2 episodes, and then we would take him off on purpose. Motherfucker has like 8 shows, dude. Are you jealous that others are taking Will away from you? Absolutely not. Will, I've known this man for 10 years. I knew that he was always going to pop off. I've believed in him since day one. I've been hyping him up since day one. Will has real jobs, unlike you. Exactly. And he deserves it. He deserves to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Your Valorant screenshot? Tag the person in this meme. I prefer the real screenshot button. I said the real screenshot button. Perfection. Oh my god, this is me. I did this. Take 85% of Will's money? Of course, dude. They were given $60K a year each, $2,500 a month for content budget, and 15% cut of sponsors. Seems to me like they got quite the stability piece. Would they rather have no salary and 80% of the sponsorship deals? What's safer? By the way, what you are describing is literally how like every media company works, and it sucks. It's dog shit. That doesn't change the reality that it's dog shit. And at least, like, if circumstances were different, and like they were actually putting in the fucking work, and they were generating a fuckload of revenue for the company, and then also on top of that, they weren't getting adequate compensation. Like they were taking 85%. They were taking 85% of you know, their sponsorship deals. Like then yeah, that is actually ridiculous. That is crazy. What the fuck is the difference though? A contract's a contract? No. What do you mean? Yeah, it's the contract can be bad. What are you talking about? It's worth mentioning it's not all of the mob. Classy kept grinding and was grateful for the opportunity. It sounded like on Twitter. Yeah. Exactly. Is the 60K taxed differently than income from advertising too? No, that's